Hello, every morning. Hello, everybody. Tracy Brown. Good morning. It's Friday. That's probably why I mumbled all those words. But I've actually been really looking forward to talking about this since last night it popped in my head. And this is what we're doing today. This is a really, really important topic, one that I'm really passionate about. And it is the idea that every single body, no matter what your size, no matter how short or how long you've been food restricting, or you've had bouts of restricting or binging or purging or whatever the cycles have been, is that your body needs legit and serious renourishment. And I think that's hardest for I know it's hardest for my clients to hear who are in larger bodies, or who even if they maybe even consider themselves like standard or average sized or whatever. It's really hard to, in our very thin, obsessed, fat-phobic culture, to just make sense of that message that, when you have weight on your body, there's this belief that, well, I have this, how could I be malnourished? I weigh this amount. And in fact, people, because of that dissonance, people often blame something else for their fatigue, their brain fog, and they blame the lack of willpower on the fact that they can't maybe stop eating a certain kind of food at the end of the night, or they feel like they're mindlessly eating and why is this happening? And we just make a simple double back over their food intake for the day, let alone the week, and see, oh my goodness, I haven't been eating very much. And sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's just not conscious. And I'll give you some examples what that looks like. Before I go to that, I want to say something about, to you, if you have been in treatment, whether it's other providers before, or other maybe not even treatment for like chronic dieting or disorder eating, but you've been to other dietitians, other healthcare practitioners who were being directive with your food with you. And the likelihood is that you've probably bumped into some people, and this is not even talking about being on a diet. This is just people we, pay to guide us with our health and nutrition, and we come to find out that we've been underfed and we're following the recommendations. And it's such a dissonance, and we have to learn to step into this new paradigm of, oh, it wasn't me that wasn't good at these programs. It was the fact that I was so undernourished, one, and it wasn't intuitive eating, but I was so undernourished, no wonder I couldn't stick with it. And then I had a period of time and I was binge eating, and I hear this over and over and over again. I mean, I've been doing this 12 years, and I went through it personally myself, but I hear this constantly where people will have gone to a professional, been underfed because it was some kind of program to fix their adrenals or fix this or whatever, and they're food restricted, like certain food restricted, or they're calorie restricted, or both, and then they blame themselves, and they may have lost weight, they may not have. But anytime you're under eating, you're going to be depleting nutrients. That's just how it is. If you're eating less than your energy needs are, and sometimes when you're renourishing, they're a little higher than they might be, let's say, in a couple years, but your body needs what it needs. And if you're struggling with this is what I ate on this program, or I don't think I need this much, or whatever, but your hunger and your drive to eat is opposite of what you think you should do, I'll be honest, my suggestion is to take a risk and honor those signals, because you've been underfed, whether it was through a diet or through a professional, and renourishment needs to happen. And you're going to have some times where you feel like you're eating a lot of food. I'm not going to share personal client experiences because I know a lot of people watch this, so I'm just going to say that I'll just share my own, that I had times when I was renourishing, even after I had gained weight basically from renourishing and intuitive eating, that I sometimes needed to eat most of a pie. I've done that, and it wasn't in a binging kind of way. Now, I've done that too, and it felt different. There wasn't this oh my gosh, you get it in me. There was just eating, and I still have this drive to eat, but it didn't feel compulsive. It just felt really, honestly, man, where's all this going? But there's a need sometimes to renourish, and it could be fats, and maybe that's why I ate 3/4 of a pie at one sitting before, in a non-binging kind of way. I had higher needs, and it was shocking, but I also recognized I'm not even that full, so okay. I mean, it didn't make sense, but I went with it because I knew the consequences, which was going to be a big setup for a lot of anguish, a lot of struggle, a lot of obsession if I tried to fix it or make up for it. I just had to let it go and let it ride and trust. And even those were really difficult times, they also helped me tremendously. So that's my personal experience. I've had many more, but that's essentially what a lot of my clients are working through at different points as well. And, I didn't have the benefit of somebody telling me, like, yeah, sometimes that primal hunger's there and it's loud and you are making up for how many years of food restricting? How many years did you restrict? Of course. And so I want to go back to the unconscious undereating in a second. My second point is, I can't tell you how many times, and I hold my breath when my clients, and this isn't every client or every treatment situation, but if you're watching this and you've been in inpatient treatment for whatever kind of disordered eating, is that my clients traditionally almost always come back from treatment facilities underfed. They might lose a little weight, they might not, but they're never fed enough. And they come back to me really struggling because they're supposed to be able to follow this meal plan, but they're still hungry. And they feel really guilty. Well, here the authorities are giving me this certain meal plan, and this is supposed to be for my recovery. What are you saying that I should eat more food? I'm like, well, I'm just going by what your body's saying and what your mind is telling me around your level of worry about food or obsession and your hunger. And I don't think this meal plan's cutting it. And so that's really hard. If you're hearing this and that's your situation, I know that's really, really hard and that's scary. And that's not your fault. You were underfed. And again, I've got lots of examples of clients coming back who are in average size or larger size bodies and honestly underfed a meal's worth of food per day. They just needed more to renourish and they weren't getting it. And it takes some time. But again, I've got some clients that they've done it. It's totally possible to work on that full permission. And I know that the struggle is hard in your mind. Like, how could I need so much? I weigh, quote unquote, so much. And well, I would say to them, and I say to you, I'm not in charge of that. Your body's the one that has to say over how much it needs for as long as it needs it. And we have to listen and honestly work on making some peace with that. So I'm encouraging you to if you need some help with that, please reach out, because I know it's a really hard time to I wasn't very good at it. I went back and forth many times personally, and I know when you hear the repetition that it's okay, it's helpful. And lastly, and this is for my people out there listening, and I was in this boat too when and this is something why I talk about nervous system health so much, is that after I started recovering and got in a better space with my food and my body image, and I did a lot of work, which I'm going to share more about that. I actually did a podcast. Some of you might know who Randy Moss is from one of the intuitive eating groups, and we did a podcast together recently, and I talked a lot about some of my moments of how I figured out some stuff, like decoding and all that. And it's on that podcast, so I want you guys, when it comes out, I think a week or two, you should listen to it, and I'll post it on my page as well. I talked about one of my moments, so I'll let you guys hear that there. I'll probably post it separately here in another point. I've talked about it a lot. So the reason that's relevant is because once I started getting through to some of those, I could decode bad body image days and thoughts and feelings and the food rules and all that, and knowing that I live in this fat public culture, I could deal with that. Got it. It doesn't make it easy when you know it, but you learn to the veils are off your eyes, you understand what's out there. What happens though for people, which is what happened to me, and I see it so much in my clients too, is without learning how to navigate the underlying physiologic sensations of emotion that have been stored up for who knows how long, maybe forever, without somebody helping us get grounded around those things and really walk through it, which is the somatic work that I help people do, is we end up switching to something else. And for me, it was overworking. And, for a while there, I guess in my late 20s, I'm almost 40 now, I fell into this place of getting really on this fight or flight all the time. because of all this released, honestly, emotion that I didn't even recognize as emotion. I just felt like sensation in my body, and I was running from it. What would happen, it would blunt my signals of hunger and fullness a little bit, and there would be occasional days where I'd undereat. I was kind of aware of it because I knew my body pretty well, like, oh, why am I not feeling hungry? And so I could kind of stay on top of it, but it took me a while to kind of navigate it. But what I see a lot with my clients is that when you're in fight or flight or freeze, your appetite and your signals are a little off. And if actually they're not really off, they're just suppressed, because that's physiologically what happens. So this is where a lot of my clients struggle too, that like when I tell them, I don't think that you're eating enough, and let's look at your day, and here's why, and here's your sensations, and I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't think that your fatigue is all about some kind of medical thing, all about the fact that your job is stressful, which they're all players. But if you're in fight or flight and you're not really grounded around your self-care with eating, you can easily undereat and not even know it. And of course that's going to impact your energy, your ability to emotionally focus, and all that kind of stuff. And then it goes back to you blame your body, and you don't believe that you're not eating enough. And then it takes some reflection to see, like, oh yeah, like when I was more grounded, I ate like double this. It's no wonder I feel so bad. And so, and that can be hard, again, because you can survive, unless you can survive. But I don't think that's good enough for you. Notice I don't feel like it's good enough for me, so I know I don't feel like it's good enough for you to just survive. I want you all thriving. I want us all thriving. And so we have to take a step back and really look at the pieces in our day where we don't believe that we deserve to have what we need and what our bodies need, whether it's a calorie thing, a rule thing, how we've been treated in the past, diet culture, or our own physiologic stuff going on. Just recognize that, yeah, we most of the time need more than we think we need. So I'm hoping this video was really helpful. I'm really passionate about this, because you deserve more than you think you do. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.